All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 3. We've got ourselves a little bit of China coming out today. It is China Rus versus China English. I don't know about you, Lidakor, but I'm looking forward to seeing some China. And I'm going to be pleased to know that there's 2 China in this game.
Indeed. Chinese on both sides, and then you have the English and the Rus. We're going to have, on the right side, Salami and Striker with teal and blue. Left side, it is going to be Dark and Koinu with yellow and red. So keep in mind that you have to substitute one player out compared to the 2v2 of game number 1. And that player was actually B. So Dark and Koinu will get the starts over here. But don't forget, game number 5, if we go to Decider, is also 2v2. And you cannot have a player play 2 consecutive 2v2s. So you might be asking, why is B not playing in this one? Why are they not bringing in their best player? This is why. Because you just want to bring in B possibly for the Decider game.
Yeah, that's a pretty smart move, actually, to do that. I think you would probably, if you lose this game, you would probably put B in the next game. Whereas if you win this game, B can sit out the next one, and then you can put him in for the Decider if it gets to that. I think that's probably... Actually, hold on. Wait, never mind. I'm a little bit special. Yes, never mind. B... Don't mind me. Oh, gosh. It's been a long day. Now, speaking of long days, everybody makes mistakes. Unfortunately, these guys, when they hosted the game, did not host it with improved Observer UI enabled. Which means that we're missing our nice little scoreboard that we normally have at the top, which tells us what the balance is for, you know, things like the military, things like the economic population. And those things really help because it's difficult to determine where players or where teams currently sit without knowing that information. So instead, the best we're going to do is this current resources tab at the top of your screen, and hopefully that alleviates some anxiety as to the status of the game. I know that in Age of Empires 2, when no score was being shown for the very first game that they had in the semi-finals, the chat was going crazy. They're like, no score, no score, no score. It's like, could you possibly watch a game without score? Like, is it really that important? But I think a lot of people just find a bit of security in seeing the score. They can immediately sit down and be like, oh, Red's winning. But anyway, that's my TED Talk. Thank you for coming.
All right, so let's take a look at the dock situation over here, because one of the reasons why Salami's team was able to secure game number 1 was that they were able to secure the pond on Golden Heights. This time around, both sides are committing to the water, and the big question becomes, do you prefer Chinese plus Rus or Chinese plus English on the water?
Good question. It's very difficult to give you a solid answer, because I'd love to have one. But Rus have got the advantage early on, but then that definitely swings towards the English. If the Rus don't wipe... So if Salami doesn't take out the 3D clan in the first 6 to 7 minutes, or gain a really big advantage from it, then almost certainly it's going to be English and China that I prefer. Because as we gravitate towards more and more archer ships coming out, while initially it might not be relevant, that +1 range will become a lot more relevant as the archer ships begin amassing.
Yeah, that is for sure. So we're going to have to see how that goes. Koinu rather successful finding sheep over here, it seems. That's a pretty good start for him. And looks like he's also going to find a patch of deer to deal with. Still some left untouched over there, despite having a Rus player on the field.
Full age ups now coming through. Salami going to be reaching the feudal age. See exactly what he looks to do here. Keep in mind, Salami playing on the Rus. We'll be hoping to get a bit of a power spike from this age up. Maybe look at transforming a few of those fishing boats into archer ships, and now we can see them all moving over slowly. Looks like he's dropped off, but he's forgotten to move them all super duper quickly. And immediately we can see that Koinu is evacuating the dance floor, heading straight towards his docks, realizing that it's time. So now the question is, what is the follow-up? The typical follow-up here for Salami is going to be demo ships. Need to come out. But keep in mind, on a 2v2 map, they're a little bit further away. You've also got 2 people that you've got to potentially contest with. So the power of the Rus here, not really as strong in this 2v2 situation as it would be in 1v1.
Yeah, indeed. It feels more like mosquito bites at this pace. It is definitely doing some harassment, but it's not inflicting horrific damage. Now the first chunk is out there to combat those low attack ships. They actually managed to snipe one fishing ship, so there's some good value out there. Also idling some more on the other side. Dark actually dodging some arrows here. Beautiful micro.
Yeah, great micro coming through from him, as you would expect. But another fishing boat does go down. And now, looking to escape up towards the north, we can see multiple fishing boats heading towards the enemy dock. No, that's an allied dock. But it's plenty of junks that come out. Interestingly, we don't see any demo ships just yet. War junk going to be coming out though for Striker.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting because we're gonna have the trinity of ships out there, so it's gonna come down to micro and unit control. No desire from either side to challenge land. This is gonna be a battle for the waters. Who do you think has the edge right now, Ozzy?
At the moment, it's definitely the Rus. But note that tempo, if it swings, it will swing very heavily in favor of the English team. Double broadaxe also coming through, so a little bit more economy focus coming in. But do note that at this point, there's no demo ships coming out from the Rus team, and that's normally where their power lies. It's the demo ships that are coming in.
Yeah, they're just missing from the action. Now, you have a couple of junks out there still for Koinu, so first couple of demos might actually struggle to get any value for themselves. Could easily be picked off. Nice micro to pull the Hawk back. Looks like Striker is going to commit trying to snipe it. And he does get the kill, I think. He will.
Oh, wow. Good stuff right there. It was a lot of effort for not a huge amount of reward, but you know what? You gotta give a little golf clap for something like that. It wasn't terrible. But now Dark got to be on the offensive, and at the same time, look at Salami heading back to the pavilion for the moment. Really needs a demo ship to be coming out of here. Still, we don't see any demo ships looking to make their way out on water just yet. Despite two Hulks pushing up aggressively, still no demo ship coming out from Striker or Salami.
Yeah, indeed, no demo ships. I feel like he was just too threatened by those junks, but now is the time for demo ships. Although, looks like he might just go overwhelmed with so many low attack ships, and it seems to work. He's got mobility advantage, so he can hunt these escaping Hawks, and then just go blast one volley into the middle of the fishing ships to sink half of them. This could still work for Salami.
Yeah, it definitely could. One of the things that we do see is players looking to switch out their fishing boats into demo ships as they're crossing the ocean. Or we've seen people even switch out galleys into demo ships, and then that way you can't really predict when they're coming or where they're coming from. Just kind of pop out of nowhere. The numbers still looking solid for our blue team, for our cold team, I guess we'd call it, because we got the warm colors, the red and the yellow, and then the cooler colors, the blue and the teal.
Indeed. I think the big factor is that behind this, Striker and Salami has a completely untouched fishing eco. On the other side, Koinu and Dark has been absorbing some pressure with the fishing eco, having it idle for some time, losing a couple of vessels, whereas on the other side, it's untouched for Salami and Striker.
Yeah, I think this is pretty smart. At the same time, they're also walling up, so they're looking to play a bit more into the long game. Something a little bit dangerous to do up against the English, but at the same time, there's no reason why they can't overcome that potential threat. Numbers looking good here, but at the same time, I've got no real idea how much, what the balance is here. Demo ship, the first one, does go down. Koinu picking it off with the junks. No real sign of an age up coming in just yet, but the numbers looking very solid for Salami. He's looking to try and pick off a couple of the war junks here. No splits coming in from Koinu, interestingly. He's going to try and focus down these ships on the front line, but just getting overwhelmed at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. This is why Salami didn't commit to demolition ships. Because when you have so many arrow ships, you just blast the volley in the middle of the formation, and you possibly do more damage than what you would with the demos. Or even if you don't, the demo could be sniped out easily without doing any damage, whereas for every single Logio attack ships, you're going to get some return value.
All right, well, Striker pushing Dark up to the north, up against the wall. The edge of the map, up against the coast. At the same time on the south side, it looks like Koinu's managed to push back Salami. You can see the Chinese, both of the Chinese players pushing back their enemies quite well.
The demo.
Demo ship. Oh, it's big. Oh, it's massive. Oh, good night, sweet prince. Huge damage coming out right there. Managing to take out 2 war junks in the blink of an eye, and very quickly, I think Striker has learned. Oh, you know what? I probably shouldn't keep my sprinkled ships next to the enemy docks. Oh, I just did it again. Unfortunately, other direction. It was where that demo ship went.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Speaking of demo ships, though, it looks like there's an overcommitment from Koinu on war chunks. Nothing to snipe those demos with, and this is gonna be big as well.
Yeah, he manages to hit the first one, comes on in. Second one goes off, but only hits an already low health war junk. So he gets out, takes out a total of 2. Actually, did he hit 2 or 3? I think it was 2, and then the archer ships finish off the third one.
Yeah,
so what's happening behind
those lines?
Let's take a look at the bases and see what's happening behind us. Do we have any second town centers coming down? Any potential age ups coming through? Are people replacing lumber camps? Let's get a bit of an idea of what's going on. So China, no Song Dynasty, no second town center. Lots of lumber camps though. Same thing happening for the Rus. Nothing too crazy. Over in the English base, farms being added in. Something that you wouldn't typically expect. And then for Koinu, a lack of lumber camps being replaced. So interesting to see that Dark has to go for farms, despite having this big fishing economy. The consequence of the Rus, I guess.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? On the other hand, at least with the English farming, it's not that terrible, but that's the big difference maker right now. You do have a Rus fishing eco as opposed to just an English one. In fact, most of the fish for Dark is gone. Now, Striker is also going to lose his fishing eco too. So, slow and steady, the water becomes less and less relevant, economy-wise at least.
And that's exactly it. When the water starts out, or when you start out on the water, it's incredibly important because you're sitting at 6 villages in the game, and you're like, okay, well, I can make a second town center right now. But as the game continues on, once you start getting towards that 20-minute mark, 30-minute mark, it becomes less relevant. It's still important. It's still an infinite source of food. It's an infinite source of strategic depth, enabling you to get drops off on your enemy and also enabling you to shell them from the edge of the map. Always the potential for sacred site victories. But of course, it's much easier to equalize when the economies aren't really what are relevant.
And it looks like Salami and Striker are not getting pushed back on the water. I wonder if they are really still committing to the water and they're just getting repelled, or they're already giving up on it, saying, okay, we're just gonna fight it out, but already setting up for land-based push. I think that's the big question right now. And the answer is that they were still fighting it out in the water. They didn't want to give up on it just yet, but they kind of had to.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like they're well equipped to transition over to a base on land. When we take a look at Striker's base, you would expect if he was thinking about doing that he'd be setting up for a second town center, maybe even a third town center with China. He would definitely be on at the very least a Song Dynasty, but that is just not the case. He is completely all in on winning this water.
Yes, he is.
Wall on that south side is uncontested at the moment. Demo ship's just going to be wasted as they explode into the random archer ships. The numbers at the moment, are we able to get a number clarification on Koinu versus Striker? These are definitely the big dogs on the team at the moment, but I think the Koinu's probably got a bit of a lead.
Yeah,
Dark reaching the castle age though.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Koinu had such a massive navy advantage that Dark could stop investing into ships, and Koinu could hold off the enemy from the water for the time being, while Dark is going to start leveraging that English castle age. Don't forget, he's going to have a second PC to build up land-based eco with, and he could flirt with the idea of possibly even going for a couple of lancers to try and flank, although those are complete on the side, so they won't accomplish much.
We do also see Koinu beginning to gather up some stone, so not only does the Song Dynasty begin, but he's also going to be on a second town center shortly.
Yes, he will. I mean, they are realizing that the water could soon be over, and at this stage, no one really has a meaningful fishing eco, so this is just a slugfest in the middle. If you want a real functional and sustainable eco, you have to start looking at the land, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Well, at this point in time, Koinu looking to overwhelm his enemy completely. A little bit of spin to win coming through here. But obviously, it's an older mechanic, sir, but it still checks out. Numbers here looking pretty solid, though, on the offense. I think this might be Striker losing the water.
Yeah, very likely. And Salami has already bailed on the water, so this is going to be complete water control for Koinu and Dark. And the reason why that's scary is because we talked about the Lancer potential over here, and indeed there come the stables for Dark. They can't get through the walls, but who cares when you can just transport them through?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Interestingly, we did see him fall back on the north side. Do we have emplacements on the docks that are up there? Why did he fall back? Because he outnumbers his enemy by an absolute country mile. Is that the reason why he gave it all up? Because maybe he just didn't want to fight against the extra repair coming through? Yeah, no. Interesting. Weird. No emplacements here at all. And yet, he is still going to be able to finish this off, though. The numbers are just too high. And now with Koinu having the advantage here, it's highly likely that they're going to be able to push this agenda. And as I mentioned before, it's about making sure that the game doesn't go too long, giving your opponent an opportunity to come back into the game. You want to maximize your chance of victory here. But still we see Salami pushing in. Demo ship gets taken out. Second demo ship coming in on the south side. Gets a good connection. Looks like it's hit the first of the war junks. Second one surviving for the moment. Archer ship's going to be here to pick these off. Doing a decent job. More archer ships towards the north, and the battle continues to rage on. Double demo in on the backside. He's looking for a little bit of cover. Trying to make his way through. Fortunately, the archer ships are able to take it out.
It's such a back and forth. And
yeah.
Salami and Striker are trying to climb back on the water, but every time they get repelled, both sides are still committing insane amounts of resources on the water. And you see Salami, not a single land-based production building. So they're fully committed to water. Problem is that it's not really working. And now Striker is out there with a couple of horsemen, but he's going to be greeted by knights. And I feel like they're losing the water. Could easily end up start losing the land as well.
Yeah. This is one of the big problems, right? Because even if you've got the walls up, it doesn't really mean anything because transport ships can always come on through. But now all of a sudden, aggression over onto the other side of the map. Dark as well as Koinu. Gonna be looking to push in. Try and force their enemy off water. Numbers looking really solid for Koinu in this northern position. Shut down Striker completely.
Yeah, like, Salami is trying his best to climb back over here. Problem is that they are just so outnumbered that there's no way that the production he has can match up to that. And as long as both sides are non-stop adding ships, Salami should never be able to climb back over here. Same thing for Zertan, because both sides are just popping out ships non-stop, but you already have a much larger fleet in existence for Koinu, although you got some decent demo hits out there. Probably too insufficient, though, to turn tide of the battle.
Yeah, definitely going to agree. It looks like they got eaten up as well, but he does hit one of the war junks. The defender's advantage is so strong on water. So difficult to overcome everything that's being thrown out right now. Faster boats coming through. In addition to that, they've also got that extra emplacement. Look at it firing down upon the enemy. Koinu are going to be aging up shortly. We did see he had enough resources for it just a moment ago. He's also got enough resources for a second town center. Let's take a look at the base of Koinu. Get a bit of an idea of where he's sitting at the moment.
Koinu is going to go castle over here. It's going to be the clock tower. So both players from Dark's team now will beat their counterparts into Castle Age, and there's the shift to Palace cards. Problem now for Salami's team is that they've lost water. So from this point on, Dark's team can start adding some fish to supplement their eco, and they can use that eco advantage to start snowballing the game on that. In fact, you already see quite a lot of fish working for Dark and Koinu. Salami's trying to make up for that with the hunt, but the concern for them is they don't have any land-based army, and they're about to overrun, or they're about to get overrun by Castle Age units.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get a little bit scary for 8-bit army here. The numbers are looking pretty good when it comes to the water presence. The main concern that they're going to have is just this Palace Guard flood that is inevitable. The question is whether he looks to transport them over or whether he just looks to go through the walls. When you've got this much water, you realistically can do both. You basically have full water control here. We're right on board with Koinu and see exactly what upgrades he looks to make. Looks like it's going to be Spearmen. Nest of Bees coming through. Palace Guards also. Doing a decent job of firing off on the front side. Demo ship's going to be forced back. Nice little micro tricks coming through, but it's not going to be enough. Big shots coming in.
Salami is getting baited into this one. He's still committing to water, believing that winning the water is going to help them win the game. Little does he know that there's a push coming on land. And at this point, if you're Dark and Koinu, you just commit to the water a little bit more to make Salami commit more. And then quietly behind this, build up your nest of bees, your palace guards, and just flood him on land. And Salami's gonna have nothing to respond to that with.
Especially if it comes in from transport ships, because you can just put them in on different angles everywhere. I mean, what do you do if 16 palace guards just come in from the north side, 16 on the south side, and then just run through, blitz the economy?
But do you need transports at this point? I feel like it's too risky to just transport them to the water. You can probably just bash your way through those walls, or if there's a forest incorporated, you could even just chop yourself through.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I think it's very underrated, the chop through. Look at this, Striker now looking to put down granaries. Still sitting in the feudal age at this point in time. Struggling to get up to the next stage. Salami. He's got the food for it, just doesn't have the gold for it. A little bit of a ticket trade coming in right there. Score also going to be a huge advantage for 3D Clan at this point.
Yeah, it will be. It's going to be a massive advantage. But obviously, score is not necessarily relevant. Positioning in the game is. And while Koinu's game is not perfect over here, as you can see on the food gatherers, the big thing is that he's building up his forces on the land. And once they break through the walls, there is nothing that really stops them from Salami. Same thing on the northern side. As long as the walls hold, it's fine, but Dark is about to get through, and I think that side of the pond doesn't have any naval presence from Salami's team, so transport ships could be even more so legitimate than they are on the south.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking when I suggested them. I'm like, well, you could use transport ships just because it's so open up there, right? Like, there's literally nothing up there, and now huge demo ships coming in. He actually manages to take out a lot of archer ships with those demos. So 4 demos coming in, all of them connect. All the archer ships do go down. Not a bad little effort right there.
Yeah, it's a good effort. The problem is that this is just a decoy. At this point, as weird as it sounds like, Dark and Koinu are okay with that, because as long as Salami and Striker keep investing into land, they won't really be investing, or keep investing into water, they won't be investing into land.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Oh. I got a black screen right now, Lidakor.
Yeah, that's a game crash.
All right, I think you might be coming back to us, guys.
Yes, we
Screen
are.
is up. Game has crashed. We are still with you, though.
Yeah. Now, if you're looking at the screen right now and saying, oh, yeah, it's a spoiler, we already have the civilization for the next game, these are the only civilizations that the teams can go for, and regardless of who wins this game, we're going to play a 3v3. So the identity of the winner will just decide the map, and you see, there is still a question mark for that, so we're going to have to wait. And
so we've just got confirmation. Striker actually crashed from the game. It's an admin win for 3DB, as they were very far ahead.